Good morning and welcome to ASI's Tuesday morning show where our most outspoken editors talk promo products. I'm Dave Vagnoni, joined today by Joe Haley.
Good morning, Dave.
Who's back from ASI New York and the hot party. Joe, what's happening?
You know, Dave, it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's hot here. It's going to be cooler tomorrow, so, you know.
I'm happy to be
That's
inside,
a weather report.
saved from the pollen tsunami, Joe.
Oh, my God. My car is bright green.
Yeah.
It's usually gray, but it's bright green.
I took an allergy pill before I came in here, so this will be a test of whether I get drowsy or
All
not
right.
on the next Thursday.
So if he falls asleep, everyone, you're
Joe, you got it.
That would be Dave.
You got it. All right, coming up, everybody, on today's show, we'll have the first ever ASI Radio debate. Joe and I will debate everything from Alibaba to wearables tech to how to really keep employees happy, so we're looking forward to that. But first, we want to bring in our special guest for today. He's the CEO of internet consultancy AOK Marketing. Dave Burnett is on the line. Dave, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Great. So, Dave, you're here today to talk about online marketing strategies with Joe and myself. And I'll start off because I feel like there are a lot of companies out there that realize they need to be invested in the web, right? But there's so much information out there, you can get overwhelmed pretty easily. So, Dave, if you're at the beginning, what are 2 or 3 things businesses can do to start to build a presence online?
Well, surprisingly, believe it or not, the first thing that you should do is get a website. And when you're getting a website, we think that there are 3 distinct platforms that you've got online that you have to deal with. Number 1, your owned website. We call this your owned platform. Number 2, your earned presence. This is your audience, your subscribers, your fans and followers. And number 3 is your paid presence. This would be your Google AdWords, Facebook ads, Twitter cards, those types of things. But your website is the most valuable of the 3 because it's the only one that you really have control over. So spend your time and money building your website and then moved on to the other earned and paid platforms. And now if you've got a website and you serve local markets, one key factor is making sure that you're signed up with Google My Business. This is today's yellow pages, and you can sign up for things that show your benefits, the hours of operations. They increase your findability in the search engine results. And then not only that, as you know, social media is a big point of contention and a big question mark out there. So number 1, even if you don't have the time to do a really good job with any of the social media platforms, make sure you at least have a presence. If for no other reason than preventing your competitors from taking your particular brand name on one of the social media platforms. So Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, basically all those. And that's a great place to start, is making sure you've got a website and signing up and getting your presence on those other platforms.
Dave, you mentioned, I think you said Google My Business. Is that right? Is that cost, or what's that all about?
No, that's actually free. Basically, it's, as I mentioned, it's today's yellow pages.
Okay.
So basically all you have to do is go to Google, type in Google My Business, and often Google will already have a listing there for your business from other search engines, or they actually bought listings from yellow pages at one point in time. So you can even possibly claim your name because they already have information up there, and then you can verify it and make sure that all the information there is accurate.
All right, Dave, this is Joe. I know a lot of suppliers and distributors are placing web ads out there to try and attract customers. What are the best kind of web ads, the ones that really get clicks?
Well, our philosophy is the best kind of ads are those that result in relevant clicks. We want to bring customers down the path to converting, whatever a conversion might look like to you. And we look at an ad in 3 parts. There's 3 basic parts to an online ad. The first is the keyword that you're targeting. The second is the ad text itself. And then the third is the landing page. And in online marketing, you have to think of everything as having its own job. The job of a targeted keyword is to serve the right ad. The job of that ad is to get the click, and then the job of the page that the people go to, the landing page, is to convert that click into a sale or lead. So the best kind of ads are those that answer a particular question that someone would have entered into Google and compel the user to click. Searches in Google tend to serve one of 3 purposes. I want to know, I want to go, or I want to buy. So designing your ads to address those needs make them much more relevant, and relevant ads get clicks. Now, we've found things like specials or discounts help with click-through rates. They help, if they appeal to a particular emotion, that helps as well. And then also creating a sense of urgency is a great strategy in an ad to get a click.
So then just a static ad is not the way to go.
There's multiple different ads, text-based ads, which I'm assuming is what you're talking about with
Yes.
ads, certainly have their place, and they're actually highly relevant in a B2B marketplace. But image ads, those types of ads are good in particular applications such as remarketing, where someone's visited your site and then you want to get them back to your site. And then there's there's a whole bunch of different platforms, but each one has its own purpose and can certainly work effectively.
Dave, part of what you guys do at AOK is improve SEO for companies. And to have good SEO, you have to have good content. We're always hearing that. But what really is good content? And let's say I'm a company, I don't have a dedicated web person. Where can I find good content to use to boost my SEO?
Well, we believe that content is one of many relevant factors for SEO. It's one part of an overall strategy. And you have to take into account two things when you're promoting and building online content. Number one is Google the machine, and number two is the end user, real people who are actually going to be reading your content. Now, your content has to be built for both and easy for both audiences, the machine and the people, to understand. The best way to do this is first figure out what your end users want and then build content to serve their needs. Now, as far as producing content, it's our opinion that it's better to produce one highly relevant piece of content, say per month or per whatever period that you define, that really speaks to your audience, that's relevant and will show up in search results. It's better to do that than pump out dozens of short articles per day that no one is ever going to read. Google knows when you're trying to game the system, so you have to make a plan, set aside the time, and just do it. If you don't have the budget, then you have to stay up late and write that content so you can get found.
In general, Dave, what makes a good website? If you're selling promotional products, for example, what should a website have and what should it stay away from putting on?
Well, bottom line is a good website is always helpful. So you have to design it to help your end users find what it is that they're looking for. So in the case of promotional products, you have to determine, first of all, if you're going to try to be e-commerce or just use your site as a lead generation or some other purpose. Sites that are e-commerce and can actually take people's money are held to a much higher standard in the eyes of Google. And you have to have things like relevant privacy policies, return policies, customer service policies, et cetera, et cetera. So Google will actually trust your site. An ideal site will have all that information, but it will have all the information that someone requires to make a decision. So something like pricing, comparable products, additional suggestions. I mean, just think about Amazon or Zappos, that kind of functionality. And a good promotional products website specifically should be easy to search, have relevant information, and most important, be focused on something, a niche. There's a million products out there being sold by 25,000, however many distributors. You need to find a niche that is relevant and focus on it and market towards that.
Dave, talking about websites, are you of the opinion that a company has to have a really good mobile site to be a player in the marketplace right now? I've been reading about Google and its algorithms and different things are changing and they're trying to reward mobile sites. Are people overreacting, or do you agree with me that a mobile site is an important component to a marketing plan?
Well, mobile is the future, and you don't have to have a specific second website set up that's mobile friendly, but you do need to have a responsive site. So what a responsive site is a site that renders well or shows up well on any device, whether you're looking at it on a phone or a tablet or a desktop. And when you think about it, Google owns Android, so it's in their best interest to push mobile. They also recently stated that there are 10 countries in the world where there are more mobile searches happening every day than there are desktop searches overall. And the United States is one of them. So you have to bear that in mind. And with mobile, you have to take into account the entire customer journey. It's absolutely essential that your site be responsive, but realistically, the odds on somebody going through and placing a full e-commerce order for a promotional product that requires artwork upload, specific imprint details, et cetera, is pretty slim to none. But they may search on their phone, then bookmark or email themselves a link to a product, and then go to their desk and buy it later. So being where people are looking when they're looking for product is important, and understanding the overall customer journey is key.
So, Dave, we've been reading a lot about Google AdWords. We go to education sessions, and people talk about Google AdWords. What are they? What are they, and how do they really help attract customers?
Well, Google AdWords is the way that Google actually makes money. Basically what they do is they provide a shortcut to being found at the top of the search results by simply paying to be there. Now, there's a perception out there that you buy an AdWord, which isn't necessarily correct. But basically what you're doing is you're bidding on a particular word that in an auction that you want to be shown at the top of the page for. So promotional products or promotional pens or something like that. And then Google takes into account the landing page experience, the ad text that you've written, and the keyword that you're targeting to give you an overall ad score. And that way they will determine where you get positioned on the Google search engine results page. And if you've done any searching on Google lately, you'll notice that the results page has changed. It's now dominated by ads, by local results, and only 1 or 2 organic results actually show of the 20 or so different results you can click on. So we're actually AdWords partners, and this platform has certainly proven to get results for our customers. In fact, it's one of the easiest ways to show return on investment with any advertising. Say, for example, you figure it'll take 100 clicks to get a lead, and you close 1 out of every 3 leads. That means you would need a total of 300 clicks to get a sale. And if each click costs you $1, then it would cost you $300 to get that sale. Then you just simply take your average revenue per sale, say, $1,000 or $1,200 minus the $300 you spent to get that sale, and you get your ROI. That's it. You can simply work the math, and then if the math works out for you, you spend more and you make more.
Joe and I are both big political guys. And Dave, there's a saying in politics that all politics is local. So I'll ask you, does the same kind of theory apply to advertising? In other words, should I focus first on finding the people local to me? Does that make sense for a company as a strategy online?
Absolutely. It's certainly a niche that you should focus on. The vast majority of the people in the industry are smaller distributors. And most of the local markets that people are located in are plenty big enough to support them. And I know that people don't care if they get an order for pens from another state, but an order for pens is just an order for pens. But it's all about positioning. And a few notes that we've discovered about local over the years. It's easier to dominate a local niche because the big guys can't be everywhere all the time. Number 2, some end users really like to deal local. They don't necessarily trust the internet because they know people can kind of game the system. So they want to deal with local companies, and having a verified Google My Business page with a local address is key to that. Now, not many people in the promotional products field are actually doing local very well or even search well. So there's definitely an opportunity there, and there's certainly openings in your local marketplace. And Google has also shared that 75% of mobile, just coming back to the mobile comment, 75% of mobile searches have a local intent. They're looking for something near them. So if you're going to go local, make sure that your site is responsive or mobile friendly.
So, Dave, about 15, 20 years ago, people were just in the business world starting to get their email address and their website up. And because of the email address, there was a lot of email marketing going on. Right now, it doesn't seem to have the same wow factor as it used to. So is it still worthwhile, and how can a firm maximize its effectiveness without getting pushy?
Well, targeted email marketing still works. I mean, as you and I both know, spam doesn't. So sending helpful, highly relevant, targeted content can certainly help your bottom line. But there is a reason why CAN spam and the CASL laws in Canada have been implemented. We have to respect the information that people have shared with you. So there's a delicate balance between making people aware of your services and pushing them too hard. Every market is different, so whatever messaging you're pushing out, make sure that you keep an eye on your headlines and you keep an eye on your unsubscribes. But we highly recommend Google Analytics to evaluate the effectiveness of every one of your channels, not only email marketing, but your social media, your AdWords, your organic results. Everything should be tracked.
So what are some of the words that marketers should not be putting in the subject line? Something that's going to put them right into a spam folder.
Unfortunately, promotional, actually having the word promotional in would get it flagged. But it also depends on where and what service you're using for email broadcasting. So if people are doing it from their own email addresses, which I really don't recommend unless they've got a very small list, you should use a third-party list. There's some free ones out there like MailChimp or Aweber that will actually monitor your lists and send all of the appropriate information on your footer that you should If you want to unsubscribe, click here, all of that information. So there's a number of different things, but what we found actually works highest in terms of open rates is putting the person's name in the subject line, and that tends to work the best of 90% of the different techniques that we've tried.
Again, we're being joined this morning. We appreciate his time. This is Dave Burnett from AOK Marketing. And Dave, we have time for 2 more questions. I wanted to get to this idea of cost. I think there's a perception out there that to really get in the digital marketing game, it costs $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 to be a part of it. Is that true or not?
Well, $10,000 or $20,000 or $30,000 sure sounds like a lot, but it really comes down to what is your revenue. Can you afford to spend $25 or $30 a day on marketing? Just spending that much will put you at the $10,000 level per year, and what you should spend actually comes back to your ROI. It makes sense to spend $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 if you're making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, or $100,000 from that marketing spend, but you have to track it. And there's a lot of studies out there that you should spend about 10% of your revenue on advertising, and I think that that's a good place to start.
All right, Dave, how does AOK measure the effectiveness of social media for its clients?
Well, we measure the effectiveness in terms of conversions and ROI, return on investment. How does that channel convert? Social media is just one part of the overall customer journey, but it is an important step in them deciding whether or not to buy from you. Like all online marketing channels, they work together with the others, but they rarely stand out on their own. So when a customer is not familiar with their brand, speaking to them in social networks as people is a big step in building familiarity and trust. And, if the key to all social media and other media in general is to figure out, is your target market there? Are they on the social media? And if so, which platform? Once you discover where they are, you have to respect their interaction with their network and not be invasive like the old TV ads that would just interrupt your show. Same thing happens if they're having a conversation within their social network. You shouldn't do that.
Well, listen, Dave Burnett with a lot of good information this morning. Please check out their website, aokmarketing.com. Dave, thanks so much for being on the show. We'll talk to you down the line, all right?
Sounds great. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks, Dave.
Again, Dave Burnett joining us today. If you want to re-listen to that interview, by the way, which I'm sure Joe and I will be doing,
Absolutely.
You can check out the podcast. We'll have it. You can download it in Thursday's Counselor program. All right, Joe, it's the moment you've been waiting for.
That's right. Let me
It's
get
the
my boxing gloves
The first
on.
ever, it could be the last ever ASI radio debate. We should have an online poll. Who debated worse, Joe or Dave?
There we go.
Lauren and Kathleen are going to kill me. So we've got a list of 12 topics.
Yep.
We'll see how many we can get through.
Yep.
I'll ask the question.
Okay.
Joe will give his opinion. I'll give mine. If I disagree, Joe can fire back, and then I'll yell at Joe. That's the way this is going to work. All right, question number one.
It's like every night at my house.
I was going to say it's like being at home with
yeah,
our
with
wives.
two teenagers. Go for it.
Question number one, Joe. Alibaba, threat or opportunity for the industry?
Well, I certainly don't see it as a threat. A company like Alibaba can put a dent in some companies' business, but an overall threat for the industry, I don't see it. I was here. I've been here 20 years, so I was here back with the big .com, threat, the big .com scare.
Yeah,
I can get that
that's
out.
what it was.
2 things. 2 quotes. Someone said it's going to bring the industry to its knees. Another person said it's going to shake the foundation of the industry to its very core. And there was such fear that every distributor was going to go out of business and everything was going to be done online. But when it comes down to it, this is still a very face-to-face business. Now, if you have a company that wants to order coffee mugs, they can probably find them anywhere online, which is very easy. But think of some of the bigger clients. Even if it's someone who's ordering, let's say, 20,000 coffee mugs, do you think that they're going to want to deal with getting the shipping, the FOB, all that stuff? No, they have a distributor there in place who knows how to do that. So I think that there'll be a dent. Certainly not a threat. Could be an opportunity. Still yet to be seen.
Okay, here's my take. I think if you're afraid of Alibaba, go get a dog.
There you go.
I mean, really, I'm hearing people talk about Alibaba like Jack Ma's going to come and take your lunch money. And I don't think people should be afraid of Alibaba.
No.
I think Alibaba, if you look at their acquisitions lately, they're going after Amazon.
Right.
They're aware of our industry. They're sending Michael Lee, who's one of their top people, to the Power Summit in Canada, the Power Summit in the U.S. He's not going to come and try to scare people.
No.
He's going to come and say, we want to partner with you guys. We want to do some things with lending, with warehousing. I think the bigger threat is a company like Custom Ink, where you can go online, you could order a T-shirt, you could have them do all the designing, and you're cutting out the middleman. I think that's a bigger threat, and then the short term for the industry, I'm not so concerned about Alibaba.
I'm not either.
All right, so we agree on that one. Question number 2.
No, we
Yeah,
need
what?
an agree sound effect.
Yeah, we need.
Kathleen's looking.
Kathleen, you have time to look. You have 10 minutes to look.
There we go.
Sales compensation. Straight commission or salaried hybrid kind of model?
Salary hybrid.
Why?
Straight composition. This industry can be very cyclical. Seasons stuff. There are times that are just death for salespeople. They're not making a lot of sales, and then of course in the fourth quarter, the holiday sales, those sales are up. So I think that you keep your salespeople happy by having them a salary.
Yeah.
And then they're going to get a commission on everything that they sell. I think that straight commission isn't a good deal. You want to keep your salespeople happy, and you want to keep them from jumping ship and going to one of your competitors.
Why only 20% of industry companies did they do that? There was an Advantages poll last year. 20% had that model. Just about everybody else was on the straight commission. Well, that's silly. I mean, I feel like the industry is behind. If you're a college grad, right? Maybe you speak a second language. You have a lot of skills to offer as a company. Why would you say to that person, oh, you're only going to come in and make money when you sell things?
So when you look at this industry, when you go back and look at 50 years ago, 60 years ago, a lot of those people were in the system, and they bring on a new group of managers, a new group of sales reps who eventually work their way up the ladder, and now they're in that position. This industry sometimes is slow to change.
You think?
Slow to change. So they say, this is how it's always been done. Not that that's right, but we've always done it this way. Now they talk about back office costs, to prepare the order. You have to float that money out there to the supplier first, so the salesperson doesn't have that.
I don't want to hear that. I think that's silly. Really, I do. And I'm going to call you out. If you're out there and you still use straight commission. Now, if an employee wants that, right, if they can make more money using that model, then I'm okay with that. That should be their choice. But if you're going to mandate, this is the way we do it at our company, and that's the only way, I think that's archaic.
A straight commission sales position is almost like you're an independent contractor, so you can peddle your wares someplace else.
Yeah,
if someone's going to offer you something,
you're not worried about service so much.
That's right.
You're worried about the almighty dollar.
There you go.
All right. Question 3. I guess we agreed on that too. This is kind of sad.
There we go.
Employee retention. This is one that really gets my goat. Do people want more pay, Joe, or more perks?
I think it's a combination.
There's no
a combination. It's a combination. When you have 2 kids in college, you want more pay.
Yeah.
Having the free coffee or the flexible hours aren't as as important as the more pay.
You're sort of hedging.
Yeah, I am. Put it this way. We'll finish this question because one of my follow-ups is the next question.
All right. Well, listen, I think I'm sick and tired of hearing all the consultants tell me that I want more perks. I don't want more perks. I want more pay, and I'll buy my perks with my extra, salary. I don't understand that. I think that there's this scheme out there in corporate America that these consultants are being paid to tell everybody that, oh, it's great to have perks. I don't want a pizza party. I don't want a retreat. I don't want coffee. I don't want any of that. I want a bigger paycheck, and that's what's going to keep me happy. And I just don't understand why, to have good culture, you have to have a pizza party. Good culture is I get a good paycheck, and then I'm happy to come to work. That's good culture for me.
Yeah, and I agree with these consultants. I mean, isn't that the greatest job in the world?
Well,
the greatest job in the world, because you come and you tell someone how to do something, and you leave. It's like, see ya.
Yeah.
I got my paycheck.
I don't understand. I think the paycheck matters to people.
I agree.
I mean, with the economy the way that it is, what you can take home as far as pay, it's not that great. I think people want more money and not other perks.
If anyone wants to contribute to the Haley Boys College Fund, you can send me an email.
Sure. All right. Next one. Working completely, and I stress completely, Joe, at home. Good or bad idea?
So let me say, I've been here 20 years, and it took me a long time to get to this table and sit down and eat with the people who want to work completely at home.
Yeah.
But and back in the day, you had to come into work because you needed the resources that we had in the facility to be able to do your job. Now all those resources are right there, and all those resources are right there, Dave, in your phone.
Sure.
I mean, you injured your hands, and you were writing stuff on your phone.
I was.
You didn't need a computer. You have access to the internet there. Everything you need is right there. Depending on what the job is, if you can do your job completely at home, I'm all for that completely at home, because I'll tell you what, it is absolutely glorious when there's no one here in the office and it makes
You're
it
happy to have me home,
so-
is what you're saying,
I
Joe. You don't
am.
want me
I
around.
am. It took me a while to get there because we had an employee years ago who was working from home, and you'd call and you'd call and you'd call and you'd email and you email, and 4 hours later you get a response. It's
Sure.
like if you're working at home, you need to be working, you need to be accessible, and
No, I agree with
this
that.
employee wasn't. So I think that kind of jaded me too. So we had that bad first experience. But quite frankly, there are people who can completely do their job at home. There's really no need to come to the office unless there's an important meeting that they need to be a part of.
There are a lot of successful companies out there, JetBlue, IBM, American Express, they can do it.
Right.
Why can't companies in our industry do it? You know, I have a 55-minute commute, and I am not productive when I'm on the Pennsylvania Turnpike stuck in traffic. Now, it's my decision. I bought a house where I bought it, right? But I want to be productive, and I'll be more productive at home. And it's motivation for me to get my stuff done so I can stop and have lunch with my wife and children.
Right.
And if I have to run an errand during the day, then I'll work at night to make up that time to get my project done. If you can't trust your people to work from home, I think you hired the wrong people.
Right,
I think
and
that's
exactly.
the age that we're in.
And I think that, the proof is in the pudding, an old phrase there. But if you're getting the job done, the quality's there.
Yeah.
What difference does it make if you're sitting in a
I agree.
cubicle, sitting in an office in the building, or you're doing it at home? If you're doing it at home on your back deck and that makes you happy and that's more motivating, that you can work outside, I'm all for that.
I completely agree. All right, we're going to move on. A few more
Look at
minutes
this.
left.
Look at this.
A few more minutes left.
I'm a baby boomer, and he's a Gen Xer,
Yeah.
and we're in complete agreement here.
Again, this is sad. We got to change up these questions. All right. Joe, hire within the industry. Maybe we'll be different on this one. We might not be. Hire within the industry or hire from outside?
I think you have to look at both. Within the industry, you're getting someone who knows all the little idiosyncrasies about working with the supplier and then placing that order and how to deliver that order to the client. And they've got contacts, and this guy's going to give me a deal, that guy's going to give me a deal. However, from outside the industry, you can get a little burst of creativity. Someone who maybe's not after a while, people get jaded about things. So they come in, they're fresh, they're young. I mean, outside the industry, let's say, and I'm thinking outside the industry, college graduates. So someone's young and enthusiastic. I think that it's a mix of both.
Yeah, I think that the industry too often looks inside. I really do. I feel like there are some super creative companies in the industry, but there's too many companies that have done things always the same way. And when you have people that have been there for 15, 20 years, of course everyone's going to think alike.
Yeah.
If you have someone fresh with a different perspective come in, there's a term now in psychology called cognitive diversity. And it basically teaches if you have people on a team with different thought processes, they come at it from a different approach, it's going to help your productivity. Not enough industry companies do that. Everyone thinks alike. I think that's bad. I would look to hire from outside the industry first. Is that a yes or a no? Is that a ding ding? I don't know. Well, sort of, but we sort of disagree.
It's a one ding.
Joe's
It's a
hedging
one
a little
ding.
bit.
Yeah, that's hedging.
All right, we've got time for, I think, 3 more.
All
Joe,
right.
green products, dead or not?
Not dead. It's very cyclical. Like I said, 20 years in this industry. This is the third cycle that we've just gone through.
Yeah.
The products get better. The manufacturing of the products get better. The marketing of the product gets better. The one thing that continues not to get better is the price of the product.
Yeah.
If you want a green product and you want organic cotton, it's going to cost more because what it costs to grow that. So I think that once they can figure out how to manufacture things cheaper, and they can bring that price down, it will be back. But this is, like I said, this is the third cycle I've seen in 20 years.
Yeah, there's a company in Canada called Fairwear, and all they do is sell green products. And they've been one of the fastest growing companies in the industry for years. And what they do is they target companies that have mission statements involving sustainability. So they're going after people that have made the pledge that we're going to be sustainable. We want green stuff. I also think that you have to look to the future. And I think the younger generations will pay a little bit more, not a ton more, but a little bit more for something that's green, that's made in the USA, that has the good labels. I think that's something that companies should be looking at. If you're just selling to baby boomers who are going to be retiring, I think you need to consider that you might not just automatically get that account.
Right.
You have to sell it to the millennial or to the Gen Xer, and you have to involve green products.
Okay.
All right.
That's kind of a...
That was another hedge. Joe's hedging.
That's really not hedging.
Joe's
I
hedging.
think it's cyclical.
The hedge master. All right, smartwatch in the industry, Joe. Is it coming or not?
Yes. Yes, once they find out in China how to manufacture a cheap one that kind of mimics with what an iWatch does, you're going to see it.
So there are fitness trackers today, right?
Yeah.
There's a company. See, I don't think a true good watch is coming because I think it comes down to price. I really think that's the issue. If I were a supplier in the industry nowadays, I would go partner with a wearables tech company, and I would say, make me a line of smart wearables tech. And I'm going to be the first supplier in the industry that does that. And I'm going to make a statement that I'm the supplier to come to for all your smart stuff. I think too many companies in our industry look at 2016 or 2017. Apple and Uber and Samsung and the companies that are really innovative, they're looking at 2025.
Right.
I think industry companies need to look ahead. I don't think that a smartwatch is coming because people are going to balk at the price.
I think
Period.
that cheap that
Well,
mimics it's not
cheap
really
is
that
going to
good.
be crap, though, and then then you're going to have
That's
product safety worries.
That's true. But people think, oh, it's a smartwatch.
Well,
Oh, it's like the iWatch. Or whatever
Yeah,
they're
and then I
calling
think
it.
that's not going to sell, and you're going to have
Okay.
and you're going to be on 60 Minutes with stuff that doesn't work. All right, last question. Should companies focus more on retention, Joe, or new clients?
It's a combination.
What's this combination
It's
stuff?
a combination.
What does combination mean? It's an either-or question.
You put all your all your focus and all your attention on your existing clients, and you're never building your new client base. What happens when you lose that contact at one of your bigger clients, and someone comes in and they like working with someone else? Now you've lost them. If you're
I think that's true.
if you're not constantly looking to reach, to find new clients, then you're going to be scrambling there. So I think that you need a team that works with retention and works with the existing client base. But you also need at least one person. You need one person out there who's constantly looking for new clients.
Companies cannot be
Onboarding.
happy with what they have status quo.
No.
That's what retention is.
Right.
Okay, I'm happy with my 30 clients. That's a joke. You need to expand your company. You go for your dreams. I just don't believe in this philosophy that it's just about retention. You need to have people who are dedicated to selling, who are dedicated to looking for new opportunities. Because, again, I'll go back to what I said a minute ago. Those baby boomers are retiring. And
Right.
if you've always worked with those people, you might not get that same deal, that same account with a millennial. That's all
Yeah,
I'm saying.
well, so who's hedging now? So
No,
you're
no, I'm
right
not
there
hedging
with
at
me.
all.
I
I
it's a
said
combination.
100% look for new business.
Okay.
Forget about this retention of
Okay.
clients. I mean, if they don't want to stay with me, goodbye. I'll find new people to work with. That's what I think.
Okay.
That's what I think. All right.
There
We'll
we
leave it
go.
at that. We'll leave it at that. If you want to chime in on the debate, Joe and I are both on Twitter at ASI_Joe Haley and at Vagnoni ASI. That's me. Tell us how we did. We want to thank Lauren and Kathleen for running the board today. Thank Dave Burnett for being our special guest. A reminder, you can listen to the entire ASI radio show broadcast as many times as you'd like. Go to ASICentral.com/radio. For Joe, I'm Dave. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time on ASI Radio.